too. He lives here every Friday from NBC Sports Bay Area, 49er analyst and insider, Rod Brooks. How are you, Rod?
Man, I'm just vibing on that Johnny Guitar Watson.
Yes, sir.
That's all I'm doing. Wow. Let me get in the camera there. Man, that Johnny Guitar Watson. I'm doing great, guys. How y'all doing?
Good, good.
Beautiful.
Jay is just trying to show off for you now every time he brings you on.
Well, you know what? And he's doing a damn good job. But, hey, by the way, I have an answer to the question you guys asked me last week.
Ooh.
The question was, as I recall, what song would you say sums up the 49ers season to this point, right? Wasn't that the essence of it?
If you don't mind, could I use an album? Is that okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I like that.
Okay. I want to use an album. I want to use AC/DC's Back in Black because AC/DC, one of the biggest bands in the world, lost their lead singer, Bon Scott, died because he just partied too damn much. And everybody thought AC/DC was done because while AC/DC was a great group of musicians, Bon Scott was like that voice, right? That's what you heard, that scream, that wail. Well, then all of a sudden, AC/DC drops Back in Black with a new singer and, in essence, the second part and maybe the most successful part of their career. Nobody expected Brian Johnson and AC/DC to come back. So you get Back in Black, you hear you hear the bell chime, and then they go into Hell's Bells, and then they hit you with Back in Black, and then the rest is history. For the Niners, when they lost Brock Purdy, and when they lost Ricky Pearsall, and when they lost George Kittle, and when they lost Bosa, and when they lost Warner, people were like, there's no way the Niners are going to be able to do anything. Where are the Niners right now? They're 9-4, looking at a 10th win coming up, and looking at a chance if things break right for the Niners to not just get better seeding, they're 6 now, they could end up being the NFC West champions, or if things really break right, they could end up being the number 1 seed in the NFC. So that's why I chose AC/DC's Hell's Bell or Back in Black.
How about this,
Get
Rod?
that, man.
The 49ers, when they wrap up the season against the Seahawks, what color uniforms will they be wearing once again?
Black. See,
Ah,
you
yeah.
see the vision, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
They will be back in black. Yeah.
I'm still thinking about getting one of those jerseys, but I'm like, you can't get a Fred because he's down. Like, who am I supposed to
gonna
get
be
right
back.
now?
He's coming back.
No,
The Amador? Who do I get?
Here's my thing about jerseys is that get the Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
I'm with
Get
you.
the greats.
See, I'm with you.
All right. You're never going to be disappointed. This is nothing against the Amador Lenore. Don't get me wrong. This is nothing against any of those other guys. But who's going to the Hall of Fame on that team? It's 3 dudes: Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, and Fred Warner. So to me, you can never go wrong when you get the jersey of a great or close to a Hall of Famer or a surefire Hall of Famer. So you know what? As that meme says, treat yourself. Okay?
I got another musical question for you, Rod, because we were talking earlier today about how last night the Kings had people at Celebrity Row, and it was like Will Levis and everyone
Trent
around the town
Edwards.
trying to wonder, wait, what now? But the Kings used to have celebrities when they first came here. Every game they'd have a celebrity, and I mentioned once I wasn't there, but I've heard about it. Tony Tennille from Captain and Tennille, and Jay didn't know who that was.
That's before
and
my
I'm just
time.
wondering, do you know Captain and Tennille?
Now, see, being late 70s, 80s, baby, I absolutely know about Captain and Tennille.
Okay.
Did young little Rod B have a crush on Tony Tennille? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Come on, do that to me one more time. And listen, I didn't understand what that meant at the time. But that awakened some feelings in young little Rod B. I'm like, I don't know what it is, but I'd like for her to tell me what it is.
Mm-hmm. So you had a little muskrat love for her, huh?
Did I? Absolutely, I did. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Listen, this is how much of a nerd I am. I even know the captain's real name. His name is Daryl Dragon.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, see, yeah. I'm a nerd. I do want to ask something because I did see that Celebrity Row, and because we're friends, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. I looked at that picture and I'm like, so who is these cats?
Man, you and everybody else,
Everybody.
right?
And that's why we mentioned it. Nobody
We're
knows.
still trying to figure it out. I have gotten confirmation from Ramsey, who was in the building yesterday. He said that one of the gentlemen was a model, and at the end of the game, they threw it up there. Folks was like, "Who?"
All right.
Like, well, but shouts out to him getting that money.
That's right.
That runway money.
Logan Webb is a professional friend. When I see him at Giants games, we say hi, we talk. He's a big Kings fan.
Yep.
When I didn't see him, I'm like, and this is no disrespect to those cats because they're way more famous than me. I guess I don't know, but I'm like, I don't really know who y'all are.
Yeah, right. If they would have threw that picture up another 10, 15, 20 more times. I mean, I seen people chat GPTing who these people were. And again, no disrespect to them folks, man, because obviously you are someone you've made it in what you've done. Please collect your check. But when it comes to, lists of celebrities, you ain't a little down on the totem pole.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, listen, if the King's definition of the word celebrity is nebulous, can I get some tickets and sit on Celebrity Row? If
we'll see what we can do.
We got you, right? Yeah.
We'll see
what game you want to go to, man?
I don't care.
That's the least we can do for Rod Brooks.
Thank you.
Yeah. Can you just clarify all this nonsense? You know how these things happen? Somebody says something like, I don't know, maybe. And then, Joe Burrow to the 49ers. There's no way Joe Burrow's going to be a 49er. Is there? You tell us.
I mean, you know what? It's the discourse now, and obviously nothing is wrong with having this extraordinarily hypothetical conversation. The Niners had a bye week, so there's not a whole lot to talk about. The Niners are playing the Titans, so there's not a whole lot to talk about. Joe Burrow was sullen, rightfully so, at his press conference because that's what the Bengals will do to a man, particularly quarterbacks. They never have a good time there for some strange reason. I think the idea is folly. I think the idea is silly. Now, don't get me wrong. I ain't stupid. Brock Purdy is easily one of the top 10 quarterbacks in this league. Joe Burrow is a blanking stud. So I understand why people would talk about it.
Yeah.
But is it going to happen? No, man, it's not. It's going to happen and I don't really dabble in these things because I'm not very smart. I don't even think from a salary cap standpoint you can even do it, or it would be advantageous for the Niners to do it because of the salary cap ramifications.
Roddy, my esteemed co-host over there, he's been talking about how we should be on an up and up. This may be a trap game.
Tony Pollard, baby, look out.
This week. And so I need you not only to convince him he's wrong, but also if there is a reason to convince me that this could be a trap game.
Well, I don't think it's a trap game. I don't think the Niners are going to lose because first and foremost, they're the much better team, and the Tennessee Titans are not good at all. That being said, and we were talking about this in our production meeting for our shows on Sunday, that I think now because the Niners have accomplished so much and have so much more that is out there for them to accomplish, provided, of course, they take care of business starting on Sunday, and also as they have before the bye, that you can nitpick. And to me, it's two nitpicks I have. Run defense, which is not terrible, but I don't think it's as good as it needs to be, considering you still are young in the back end, considering the pass rush is not as formidable as one would like, although they found a way to create a pass rush, and that's great. That is definitely going to be beneficial. But I need the Niners run defense to be better. And if you look at it on paper, it's not terrible. It's 12th in the league, only giving up 104 yards per game. That's okay. I need it to be more. I thought Cleveland got a little loose on the Niners in the run game last week. They rushed for 138 yards. And Tony Pollard, who hasn't done anything all year long, except he ran for 161 yards. Most of those came on the two touchdowns both of them were over 20 yards in total. That's a very good Cleveland run defense. So I'm nitpicking. I want to see the Niners get Tony Pollard back to what he's been the majority of the season, which is a guy who's only averaging about 50, 60, 70 yards per game. And I think a big part of the Niners run defense problems, they're tackling this year. They've missed tackles over the last few weeks in the dozens. They missed 15, if I'm remembering correctly, against the Browns. You do that against better teams, like coming up against the Bears. Hell, like coming up against the Colts, because you know they're going to ride Jonathan Taylor because of the quarterback issue. Coming up against the Bears, they have a really good run game. We all know what Seattle is capable of in their run game. If the Niners are going to, they're in the playoffs. But if they're going to improve their seed and take advantage of the possibility of being the number one seed in the being the number one in the NFC and the number one seed in all of the NFC, I meant to say NFC West and the NFC, then the Niners' run defense has to be not a whole lot better, but it's got to be better than 12th. And those missed tackles, they've got to find a way to stop that, because that could be the difference between winning the NFC West and being a fifth seed, which ain't the worst thing in the world, because you've got to play whoever wins the NFC South. But I think the Niners have something real in front of them that they could take care of if they button up the little things like being better run defense-wise.
Yeah, and to that point, Rod Brooks with us, to that point, as you well know, last night with Atlanta winning, the Panthers now are the 4 seed. They're leading that NFC South. So if the 49ers ended up 5, they'd be playing the Panthers in the first round. Want to ask you, with all the injuries, who's back this week as far as we know, and how much will they bring to the party?
So Eddie Pinheiro's back, so that's nothing to worry about. Sam Okawanu, Tatum Bethune, and Yatur Gross-Matos, all of them did not practice today, so the chances of those guys haven't gotten official. I think Kyle Shanahan's actually talking right now, so it looks like that those guys will not play on Sunday. I don't think they're not going to rush them back, and they don't need those guys in my estimation. They don't need those guys to beat the Tennessee Titans. So that's not the worst news in the world. Kyle Juszczyk, just talking to my partner in crime, Matt Mayoko, a little while ago. He's down at the Niner facility. He saw Kyle Juszczyk, and he wasn't wearing the blue non-contact jersey. So that would lead you to believe that Kyle Juszczyk would play against the Titans. But I don't have anything right now in front of me that says that. But I do believe, and you know, when they say no disrespect, but of course disrespect is coming. No disrespect to the Titans. You don't need those 4 guys to beat the Titans. But you do need to tackle better to beat the Titans, and you do need to run the ball better to beat the Titans.
Joined by Rod Brooks. Rod, what CMC seems to have gotten bitten by the flu or sick. He's ill. He's something of that nature over the last 24, 48 hours or so. What's the word on CMC so far this week?
He's good. He practiced today. He'll be fine. He's ready to go. Yeah.
Got you. He's got a little Theraflu in the system.
How come Ricky?
Got some tussin in his system.
Yeah. How come Ricky Pearsall hasn't been a bigger part of the offense, and when might that change again?
Well, I mean, so how many games was Pearsall out? Was it 5, 6? I mean, he was out for a lot of games. Now he's gotten the majority of the snaps. I think he's still getting back into the flow, getting back into the mix. You know, one thing I've learned, just, you know, having the pleasure of working with professional athletes, is that the longer you're out, the longer it takes for you to really get back in shape, from a cardiovascular standpoint, from an endurance standpoint, from a stamina standpoint. I think Ricky Pearsall is going through that right now. So I wouldn't be surprised, just based on the opponent, because Tennessee's pass defense is not very good. I wouldn't be surprised if Ricky Pearsall had himself a day. The opportunities have been out there, but I do think also time that Pearsall has missed, but the time that Brock Purdy has missed. You know, they need to get that connection. The guy that Brock Purdy had that sort of molecular connection with is not going to play for him anymore, in my estimation, a lot of people's estimation, and Brandon Ayuk. You know, the guy that Mac Jones had that molecular connection with was Kendrick Bourne. I think for Brock Purdy and Ricky Pearsall to get that connection is going to take some time to reestablish, or has taken some time to reestablish.
Rod, up to this point, you know, there's kind of been a hodgepodge of most players on the defensive side for the 49ers. Is there anyone throughout the whole season that has kind of been their rock, their foundation so far, that you can call out?
Deommodore Lenoir,
okay,
without a doubt.
Yeah,
Deommodore Lenoir, no doubt. I mean, he is the corner that they don't want to mess with.
Right. Yeah.
You know
True.
what I mean? And while that puts a lot of stress on your other corner, who's a young guy, and while that puts a lot of stress on your defensive backfield that is comprised of young guys, you would rather have a cat like Diamador Lenore that teams stay away from than not have a guy like that. So yeah, Diamador Lenore. I mean, it's because Warner's hurt, because Bosa's hurt, although he's a quiet guy. Do you call Lenore the leader of that defense? I mean, as I talk through it, yeah, he's that dude, and it's kind of rare for DBs to be the leaders of that defense just because of the nature of the position. You're all the way back there. But when you are good enough, and when you do have those leadership qualities, the first person that pops into my mind, I'm not comparing the two, but is Ronnie Lott leading from all the way back there as a defensive back and then as a safety. It is possible for that to happen, but Lenore is clearly their best, most consistent, and obviously healthiest defensive player.
Rod, as you said, we'll probably talk more about the Colts situation next week before the Niners play them. But that said, what are the odds that the 49ers get the helping hand they need from the Colts and Phillip Rivers this week against the Seahawks? Is there any way that ends up anything like what the Colts hope it will?
And what, in him not dying?
Well, that's a start. Sure.
I mean, listen, man, you ain't going to convince me that a 44-year-old dude who's been coaching, even if he has intricate knowledge of the Colts offense and a great working relationship with Shane Steichen, you cannot convince me that it's a good idea for him to play against the Seahawks, the Niners, or any other NFL defense out there. And I'm including the Raiders and the Tennessee Titans. Can he move? Like, that's the first question you find out. Let's see if he can move. And if he can move, okay, we're dealing with something different. I mean, but just looking at him, I'm not here to body shame, but we are talking about professional athletes. Did that look like a guy in Phillip Rivers who has the physical dexterity to get away from Leonard Blanken Williams, who just lives in opposing teams' backfields?
I didn't think so.
Like, what are we? I like the rational person in me thinks that he's not going to start this weekend. And I'd be stunned if he started next weekend against the Niners. To me, this is just an emergency situation because they don't have Anthony Richardson available because he's got a broken face, and the rookie they have is indeed a rookie. Phillip Rivers actually playing a game in the Big 2025.
I'm telling you, closer to 2026.
Hey, Tom Brady said Tom Brady was on the Colin Cowherd. He said, I could do it.
Come on, man.
He said, I can't because I'd have to sell the Raiders, but he said, I could do it right now.
Well, Tom Brady is a certified sociopath. And no, Tom Brady, you can't do it either. Now, if I had to pick between the two,
right,
I would pick Tom Brady just because, moving wasn't Tom Brady's thing anyway. Not that Phillip Rivers was running quarterback, but moving wasn't Tom Brady's thing anyway. And Tom Brady is not as far removed from playing football, even though they're both far removed, but not as far removed from playing football as Phillip Rivers. But yeah, Tom Brady's a crazy person. So of course a crazy person would think that. There are people on the streets of San Francisco outside of this studio who think that they can play in the NFL right now. And I promise you, a lot of them are not right in the head.
Just think of all the former quarterbacks that are looking at that going, I mean, I don't know why. I'm just thinking like Brian Hoyer. Probably going like, hey, I think I could do that.
Stop it. No,
if he could do it, I could do it.
But I forgot there was one guy who I think the Colts called him, and he's like, "No, dog, I'm not. No, I'm
Really?
good. I'm good doing whatever." I wish I could remember the guy's name, but I can't. But he was like, "Nah,
I'm out."
Man, hey, I know we're talking about a different position, but did y'all see the look on Travis Kelce's face as the Texans had stuffed him and the rest of that that Chiefs offense in a burlap sack and kicked it and beat it with sticks? He was on the bench like, they got me out here with all these killers in front of my girlfriend in the stands. Man, these old dudes know that. But in seriousness, and I know Cam Newton is making a stink with his funny hat, and obviously people talk about Colin Kaepernick. Whether you like it or not, the NFL is a relationship business, and Shane Steichen and the Colts have a relationship with Phillip Rivers. So That's why he's there. They didn't just pull his name out of a
Right.
hat to say for what's in giggles. They know him. They know that he knows their concepts offensively. So in this extreme emergency situation, and I think calling Phillip Rivers to play quarterback on any level classifies that situation as an extreme emergency. You want a guy who you know and that's familiar with how you get down offensively. To me, that's as simple as that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, here you go,
Now,
Rob.
that'll make it a smart move.
Right. Because I'm back on the track. I'm beating the flack. Nobody's going to get me on another rap. So look at me now. I'm just making my play. Don't try to push your luck. Just get out of my way. AC/DC Back in Black.
There it was.
Yeah.
Come on, man. By the way, Ryder, before we let you go, I got to show extreme love to you as an also Notre Dame hater. I just love the flack you were giving them boys all week. Every time I looked up, Rod was firing off on Notre Dame fans.
Yeah.
Because they make it so easy.
I love
it's just 100% a sucker move. Like,
man.
Don't nobody cut for y'all no more. You're not that important. College football has passed you by. Matter of fact, college football has lapped you twice. And so you don't play, nobody cares. They don't care if you do play. They don't care if you don't play. Bye, Felicia.
Have a great weekend, Rod. We appreciate it. Enjoy the game. We'll see you on TV.
All right, guys. See y'all next week.
Yeah.
Take care.
Yeah. Rod Brooks. When we come back,